Live from New Delhi, you're watching the India Newshour, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 1 hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address exam stress, learning focus among students in 9th edition of Pariksha Pe Charcha today at 10 a.m. Amid growing tensions, US and Iran to hold crucial talks in Oman. White House says Trump prefers diplomacy but warns of military options. Russia and Ukraine agree to exchange prisoners as second round of peace talks in Abu Dhabi conclude. Key differences remain unresolved. And in cricket, India all set to chase 6th Under-19 World Cup title and England their first since 1998. As exam season draws closer, the country's most awaited student-centric dialogue is back. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's unique interactive program with students, Pariksha Pe Charcha 2026, now in its 9th edition, will be held today. This year's PPC features very interesting topics relating to examinations, notably the need to remain stress-free, focus on learning and more. Here's a detailed report.
For millions of students, examinations often mean anxiety, self-doubt, and sleepless nights. Pariksha Pe Charcha addresses this reality head-on, reminding students that stress is natural, but fear is optional. What makes Pariksha Pe Charcha 2026 truly unique is its new format. This year, the Prime Minister invited students to his official residence, offering a warm and informal setting of an open exchange on exams and life lessons. Prime Minister Narendra Modi focuses on practical wisdom, how to manage time, overcome fear of failure, stay focused, and believe in oneself. His message is simple: exam test preparation, not personality. Pariksha Pe Charcha 2026 reaches beyond the capital. Interactions were held in Coimbatore, Raipur, Devmogra in Gujarat, and Guwahati, ensuring that guidance reaches students from every corner of the country.
Examinations are just around the bend, and the Pariksha Pe Charcha then cannot be behind that. This year, we are having the 9th edition of Pariksha Pe Charcha. And something unique has happened this time is that more than 4.5 crore students, children and parents have registered themselves on the MyGov platform, because they're all waiting to hear as to what the Honorable Prime Minister has to tell them. This is a unique intervention conceived and conceptualized by the Honorable Prime Minister.
With over 45 million registrations, this year's response reflects deep faith in the program. Students are not just watching, they are actively seeking direction, motivation, and emotional support. The 9th edition of Pariksha Pe Charcha 2026 will telecast on 6th February 10 a.m. Pariksha Pe Charcha is more than a broadcast. It's a national conversation that replaces anxiety with assurance and pressure with purpose. Pariksha Pe Charcha 2026 stands as a reminder that success is not built on fear but on balance, discipline, and self belief. It tells every student you are more than your marks and you are never alone in this journey. Kriti Vadera's report for DD India.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will embark on a 2-day official visit to Malaysia on Saturday. During the visit, Prime Ministers of India and Malaysia will hold bilateral discussions to review progress under the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. We get you more. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Malaysia will be his 3rd visit to the Southeast Asian nation and the first since Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim's state visit to India in August 2024, when bilateral ties were elevated to a comprehensive strategic partnership. With a diverse agenda on the table, the visit will set the roadmap for future engagement between the two nations.
PM will hold bilateral discussions with the Prime Minister of Malaysia. They will review progress under the India-Malaysia Comprehensive Strategic Partnership, especially in priority areas of cooperation such as trade, investments, defense, security, semiconductors, digital technologies, renewable energy, education, healthcare, and people-to-people exchanges.
The 10th meeting of the India-Malaysia CEOs Forum will also take place in Kuala Lumpur. Prime Minister will interact with leading Malaysian CEOs from key sectors. Malaysia is India's third largest trading partner in ASEAN, with bilateral trade valued at around $20 billion.
On the investment front, our engagement is strong and is growing steadily. Major Malaysian investors like Petronas, Khazanah, IHH Healthcare, IJM Corporation, United Engineers, UEM, etc., have a strong presence in India, while over 200 Indian companies, including 61 joint ventures and 3 Indian PSUs, including those in IT and ITES, manufacturing, construction, and pharmaceuticals, are actively operating in Malaysia.
Digital cooperation and semiconductors will be a key highlight of the visit.
The NPCI is set to sign an agreement with PayNet during the course of the visit. So that will be one of the outcomes expected from the visit. We are in the process of establishing a multi-layered collaboration arrangement through a G2G MOU, semiconductor, industry-led collaborations, and also R&D, both in terms of setting up fabrication centers, also assembly testing centers, etc. Our companies are also interested in collaborating with Malaysia on that.
Prime Minister will also interact with members of the Indian community in Malaysia. At 2.9 million, the Indian diaspora is among the largest overseas and is all set to welcome the Indian Prime Minister.
We are performing Kathak dance, so we are very excited. In fact, we are feeling very proud as a Malaysian to invite him and showing the Indian dance form to him, presenting it. It's a big opportunity for us, so we are very happy.
I think we are very excited to show the unity that we have here and the connection from cultural viewpoint with India, and it's exciting that the Prime Minister itself is coming here to witness it.
We are going to be performing different dance forms, so you can see Odissi, Bharatnatyam, Kathak. We are the Kathak group, and we're going to all perform together on a singular song, showing the different variations that we have in the Indian culture, how different dance forms come together to form this beautiful united country called India. We are very excited to welcome Mr. Narendra Modi, and I hope you like the performance.
Meghalay's report, Malaysia, TD India. At least 18 miners were killed in a blast and several others were feared trapped in an illegal coal mining site in Meghalaya's East Jaintia Hills district on Thursday, prompting the government to order an investigation. Preliminary reports indicate that the blast was caused by a high-intensity dynamite explosion used for mining activities. The explosion triggered the collapse of adjoining mine shafts, trapping workers deep underground and raising fears of further casualties. Rescue and search operations are underway and authorities are working to assess the full extent of the tragedy. Chief Minister Conrad K. Sangma said that strict action will be taken against individuals involved in any kind of illegal activities.
Had a very tragic incident that took place in East Jaintia Hills, where a dynamite explosion had occurred at an illegal coal mine in Minsingot, Thangsko area in East Jaintia Hills. As per the current reports, about 18 people are reported dead because of this blast. One person is injured and has been shifted to the Yalong Civil Hospital.
According to local sources, the impact was so severe that nearby quarry structures crumbled instantly, significantly hampering rescue operations. Initial investigations suggest that the mine was operating illegally in violation of safety regulations and existing government bans on rat hole mining in the region. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed grief over the loss of lives in the Meghalaya mishap. In a social media post, the Prime Minister said, and I quote him, "Condolences to those who lost their loved ones. May the injured recover at the earliest." An ex-gratia of 2 lakh rupees from Prime Minister National Relief Fund would be given to the next of the kin of each deceased. The injured would be given 50,000 rupees. Home Minister Amit Shah has also condoled the loss of lives in the unfortunate incident. In a social media post, he said, and I quote him, "Pained by the loss of lives in the tragic incident in Meghalaya, 1 NDRF team has reached and 2 more teams are on the way. Spoke with the Chief Minister of Meghalaya, Conrad Sangmaji, and assured him of every support from the centre." Moving on, Governor of Japan's Gunma Prefecture, Ishita Yamamoto, is on a 5-day visit to India, marking his first visit to the country to strengthen economic, educational and human resource exchanges. In the series of meetings, Yamamoto held productive talks with India's Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal. The two sides discussed strengthening the long-standing ties between India and Japan, focusing on enhancing economic cooperation, fostering innovation and creating opportunities for mutual growth and prosperity. Indian teacher Rubul Nagi won the Global Teacher Prize 2026 at the World Government Summit in Dubai on Wednesday. She received $1 million award presented by Global Education Management System Education. Rubul Nagi was honored for using art as a tool to support education, including transforming neglected walls into interactive learning murals that teach basic literacy, numeracy, public health and environmental awareness. Over 2 decades, her work has helped bring more than 1 million children into formal education. Through the Rubul Nagi Art Foundation, she has set up over 800 educational centers across India, supporting children from low-income communities and villages. She was also selected from over 5,000 nominations from 139 countries and plans to use the prize money to establish a vocational institute offering free professional and digital skills training. You're watching DD India News Hour. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, students, faculty stage a sit-in against US Immigration and Customs Enforcement at Columbia University, leading to 12 arrests. Governments around the world brace up to limit the social media use for teenagers. Floods and inclement weather wreak havoc in Spain. Evacuation underway.
Food systems contribute to a third of global planet warming emission. In today's episode, let's take a look at what happens when food systems stop working for everyone.
After Hatibondo arrived, we discussed as a village the challenge that we were facing. And we came to the conclusion that we should sow some crops, especially for the elephants.
The Meramo Cafe is basically promoting the circular economy. So there's not much transportation involved in that process. So this is one way that we are reducing the carbon emission from that point of view.
Is probably laughing because despite the fact that they're cleaning up other people's problems for free, it seems like nobody here actually wants them to be doing it.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. After weeks of military threats and arguments over a venue, US and Iran are about to begin talks in Oman today. The talks were set to go ahead, even though the two sides have had differences over the agenda, and that has increased doubts about the prospects for a deal. Trump has threatened to carry out strikes on Iran if an agreement cannot be reached. The US previously said it wanted the discussions to include Iran's missile arsenal and other issues, while Tehran has insisted on focusing exclusively on its disputed nuclear program. It was unclear whether that a disagreement had been resolved. Moving on to Russia-Ukraine crisis now. The second round of US brokered talks between Russia and Ukraine concluded in Abu Dhabi, the United Arab Emirates, on Thursday, with both the sides agreeing to a large-scale prisoner exchange but failing to achieve substantive breakthroughs on core issues such as territorial arrangements and a ceasefire. The talks ended with no joint political or security statement, underscoring persistent differences between Russia and Ukraine on key matters, including territorial disputes, ceasefire arrangements, and security guarantees. Ukrainian President Zelensky also said on Thursday that the next peace talks with the delegations of the US and Russia will be held soon. However, no timetable or arrangements for the next round of talks were announced, highlighting continued uncertainty in the political settlement process. 12 people were arrested on Thursday while protesting outside United States Columbia University, where professors, students and supporters staged a sit-in against U.S. immigration and customs enforcement. Demonstrators briefly blocked traffic on streets, protesting against the immigration and customs enforcement. Protesters accused the university of cooperating with ICE and called for the campus to be declared a sanctuary. A spokesperson for the Students Workers of Columbia Union said that recent ICE actions on campus had created fear and reiterated calls for the university to change policing practices and adopt a sanctuary designation. Cuba has said that it is willing to engage in dialogue with the United States, but only without pressure or preconditions amid sharp exchanges between the two countries. Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel said Havana is open to dialogue with Washington on any issue, but only from a position of equality and with respect for Cuba's sovereignty, independence and self-determination. His remarks come after US President Donald Trump issued repeated warnings, including threats to cut off Cuba's oil access and claims that the island was ready to fall. Havana has denied that any negotiations are currently underway and rejected what it described as pressure tactics. The National Assembly of Venezuela has taken a major step towards a new amnesty law. On Thursday, lawmakers gave initial approval to legislation that would grant immediate clemency to people jailed for participating in political protests or criticizing public officials. According to the draft, the bill would also return assets of those detained and cancel Interpol and other international measures previously issued by the government, allowing opposition figures in exile to return home. The bill passed unanimously in the first of the two necessary votes at the National Assembly. The date for a second session to debate the matter has not yet been set. The last 89 Christians held captive since criminal gangs attacked 3 churches in northern Nigeria in mid-January were released on Thursday following a spate of mass kidnappings in the country. The worshippers arrived on a bus escorted by security forces and were received by the governor of Kaduna State, Yuba Sani, who said that 183 people were initially abducted. The governor said that he had been in regular contact with the President Bola Tinubu over the kidnappings. The circumstances of the captives released were not revealed. They were snatched from 3 churches during Sunday services on January 18th in the Kerman Valley village of the predominantly Christian district of Kajuro in the Kaduna State. The attacks have piled international scrutiny on insecurity in the country. Social media companies will have to answer to a jury for the first time for allegations that their products are intentionally addictive and harmful to young users' mental health. Ahead of next week's trial targeting social media and major tech companies, parents who claimed their children died due to social media harms gathered on Thursday outside the Los Angeles Superior Court to hold a vigil. According to court filings, the case involves a 19-year-old from California identified as KGM, who said she became addicted to TikTok platforms at a young age because of their attention-grabbing design. She blames her depression and suicidal thoughts on the apps she used and is seeking to hold the companies that designed them responsible. Reportedly, she has reached an agreement in principle with TikTok to settle her case. However, the company did not immediately respond to a request for more details about the same. KGN's case is one of the 3 scheduled test cases known as bellwether trials, chosen from hundreds of related lawsuits accusing the platforms of harming the youth. The outcome of a lawsuit could help determine how other cases are handled. Governments around the world are moving to limit social media access for teenagers. From Europe to Asia, countries are considering stricter rules on social media for children under 16, citing growing concerns over addiction, cyberbullying, and mental health. Here's a closer look at how this global debate is unfolding.
A global push to limit social media use for teens is gaining momentum. From Europe to Asia, countries are eyeing stricter rules for users under 16. The move is driven by concerns over digital addiction, cyberbullying, their impact on mental health, and other online harms. Australia made headlines last year when it banned social media for under 16s, with fines up to $32 million for online platforms that failed to comply. This world-first law has prompted other countries to follow suit. France's National Assembly recently approved a bill to ban children under 15 from using social media. Spain has proposed a similar ban for under 16s, while Greece, Denmark, Norway, and the UK are also debating age limits. In Asia, Malaysia is debating whether to enforce a social media ban for under 16s under its Online Safety Act. In India too, the issue has gained traction. The latest economic survey warned that digital addiction among both children and adults affects cognitive and social development. The survey added that it also impacts physical health, with lifestyle diseases such as diabetes, heart conditions, and obesity on the rise.
To understand digital addiction in children, I think one of the best ways is to look at some signs and symptoms. You will see an increased amount of meltdowns and crying bouts, especially if you take away the devices, sudden mood swings, anxiety and restlessness, a certain sadness when they're not engaging with the app, a loss of interest in other things like toys and hobbies and sports and friends and neighbors and family members, and talking excessively about the app or the game. You'll see children who play a lot, their entire world becomes that. They're only talking about what they won, how much they won, what gear they bought in that app, stuff like that. We also see the inability to engage afterwards with people. Sleep and food, those things get affected too. They start lying about and sneaking around their gadgets and stuff like that, and in general, decline in attention span is a reality.
However, tech giants are pushing back. Telegram founder Pavel Durov and Elon Musk slammed Spain's proposed ban as dangerous, warning it could lead to a surveillance state. Earlier, companies like Meta and TikTok argued that banning teens from social media would only drive them to unregulated apps or the dark web. But as incidents of online harm rise, countries seem to be coming around to the view that the risks can no longer be ignored. The debate over teen social media use is only getting bigger.
US President Donald Trump on Thursday unveiled TrumpRx.gov, a website meant to offer consumers access to discounted prescription medicines. President Trump described it as a transformative healthcare initiative, emphasizing that citizens could realize on substantial savings on medicines. He added that the direct-to-consumer website is the state-of-the-art and will save millions of Americans money.
Starting tonight, dozens of the most commonly used prescription drugs will be available at dramatic discounts for all consumers throughout a new website. It's called TrumpRx.gov. That's TrumpRx.gov. This launch represents the largest reduction in prescription drug prices in history by many, many times. And it's not even close. You're going to see numbers that you're not going to believe.
Bangladesh Nationalist Party chairman Tariq Rahman on Thursday accused a rival political group of becoming new tyrants. He alleged that undercover activists are plotting to undermine democracy, women's dignity and voting rights ahead of the February 12th general election. Tariq indirectly referred to Jamaat-e-Islami, expressing concern over the rise of the new oppressor. He warned of a conspiracy to restrict free expression, suppress voting rights and silence dissent, stating that parties disrespecting women cannot advance in national progress. His remarks come as Jamaat-e-Islami unveiled its election manifesto in Dhaka. Artificial intelligence-generated sexualized images depicting children constitutes child sexual abuse and must be criminalized. UNICEF said this while warning of a rapid and alarming rise in the misuse of AI tools to create abusive content, including cases where real photographs of children are manipulated and sexualized through deepfake technology. Citing new evidence, across 11 countries, UNICEF found that at least 1.2 million children disclosed that their images had been manipulated into sexually explicit deepfakes over the past year. In some countries, this amounted to 1 in 25 children, roughly 1 child in a typical classroom. UNICEF thus called on governments worldwide to expand legal definition of child sex abuse material to explicitly include AI-generated content and to criminalize its creation, possession, procurement and distribution. Let's get to weather updates now. Spanish Guardia Civil went door to door in southern mountain village of Grazalbo to evacuate about 1,500 residents on Thursday after flooding swept through the village. Residents walked through flood water carrying belongings as police and emergency services cleared the entire town as a precaution. Evacuees were taken to a nearby sport and leisure center and were converted into temporary shelter in the city of Ronda. The Red Cross and emergency services set up hundreds of beds to accommodate residents overnight, while soldiers delivered food and water supplies. A drone footage showed floodwaters pouring from the Grazalma town after Storm Leonardo. Juan Manuel Moreno, president of Andalusia's regional government, said that authorities plan to drain 2 reservoirs below the town that were at the risk of overflowing. You're watching DD India Newshour. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, stay with us as we acquaint you with the first made-in-India wheeled humanoid robot, Alexis W. As India gears up for India AI Impact Summit 2026, we get you a special report on how AI is not just about chatbots and algorithms. Indigenous Australian art enthralls all at the India Art Fair 2026.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Hello. Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic. Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Hello. Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Newshour. A quick recap of the top stories now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address exam stress, learning focus among students in 9th edition of Pariksha Pe Charcha today at 10 AM IST. Amid growing tensions, US and Iran to hold crucial talks in Oman. White House says Trump prefers diplomacy but warns of military options. Russia and Ukraine agree to exchange prisoners as second round of peace talks in Abu Dhabi concludes. Key differences remain unresolved. And in cricket, India all set to chase 6th Under-19 World Cup title and England their first since 1998. India is moving ahead with its ambitious human spaceflight and lunar mission plans. ISRO is preparing a series of key missions over the next few years. Speaking in Pimpri Chinchwad in Maharashtra, ISRO Chairman V. Narayanan said that the Gaganyaan program is targeted for 2027 with 3 uncrewed missions. He added that Chandrayaan 4 and Chandrayaan 5 are planned as crewed missions and are expected by 2028 if everything goes as planned.
With the visionary leadership of Honorable Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji, we are working for the Gaganyaan program, and the Gaganyaan program is targeted in the year 2027, and 3 uncrewed missions have to happen, and we are working towards that. Chandrayaan 4 and Chandrayaan 5, both the programs are approved programs, and it goes as planned, as targeted. 2028 time frame it will happen.
Indian robotics firm Addverb unveiled its first made-in-India wheeled humanoid robot, Alexis W, in Mumbai on Thursday. According to its developers, the wheeled humanoid is designed for use across different manufacturing facilities. Take a look.
Robotics firm Addverb unveiled its first made-in-India wheeled humanoid robot, Alexis W, in Mumbai on Thursday. The 6-foot robot is built to work autonomously and collaborate with human workers. According to its developers, the wheeled humanoid is designed for use across manufacturing facilities, warehouses, and high-risk environments, including the defense sector.
Today we are launching the wheeled humanoid because if you see humanoid, it is locomotion, manipulation, and then sensing of the physical environment and reasoning and doing the work. So as far as locomotion is concerned, the wheeled humanoid is much better than leg. And these will be used initially in industry, manufacturing setup, warehouses, for hazardous work, and that would be the first application. But it would also have usage in your homes, in defense, in elderly health care.
The company plans an initial rollout with select customers, pricing the robot between 70 lakhs to 90 lakh rupees, with costs expected to decline as optimization progresses.
These robots we will be launching for only few customers, chosen customers with whom we will work for 5-6 customers, and typically the range would be somewhere between 70 lakhs to 90 lakh kind of thing. But again, the prices are going down. We will also optimize the prices.
Although the company chose to launch a wheeled design, citing enhanced performance in industrial settings, a legged version is currently under development.
With New Delhi all set to host the India AI Impact Summit 2026, the spotlight is firmly back on artificial intelligence. But the story of AI did not just begin with chatbots and algorithms. It is a long arc of ideas, experiments and breakthroughs. Diptanshu Kashyap gets us more in this report.
As New Delhi prepares to host the India AI Impact Summit 2026, artificial intelligence is once again at the center of global attention. But while today's AI tools feel revolutionary, the idea of intelligent machines has been taking shape for more than a century, evolving through science, mathematics, computing, and imagination. The roots of artificial intelligence stretch back to 1914, when Spanish engineer Leonardo Torres y Quevedo demonstrated El Ajedrecista, the world's first fully automated chess-playing machine. In 1921, the word robot entered the English language through Karel Capek's play Rossum's Universal Robots, shaping how the world imagined artificial beings designed to work for humans. By the mid-20th century, machines began moving from imagination to computation. In 1939, the Atanasov-Berry computer emerged as one of the earliest digital electronic computers. In 1950, Alan Turing posed a defining question: can machines think? Laying the foundation for machine intelligence. The term artificial intelligence was officially coined in 1955, followed by early breakthroughs in neural networks, machine learning, and pattern recognition. The following decades saw AI systems move into real-world problem-solving, from Shaky, the first mobile robot capable of reasoning, to MySyn, an early expert system for medical diagnosis. AI began assisting humans in specialized tasks. By the late 1980s and 1990s, advances in probabilistic reasoning and deep learning enabled machines to recognize handwriting, understand language, and interpret complex data. The 21st century marked AI's leap into everyday life, from emotionally responsive robots like Kismet to IBM's Watson, voice assistants like Siri, and humanoid robots such as Sophia. AI systems began interacting directly with humans. The launch of large language models, generative AI tools, and multimodal systems accelerated rapidly, transforming how machines write, speak, see, and create. At its core, artificial intelligence is a branch of computer science focused on building systems that can replicate human intelligence, learning from data, recognizing patterns, understanding language, and making decisions. Machine learning allows systems to improve over time without explicit programming, while neural networks act as digital brains that process complex information from facial recognition to video analysis. Today's AI ecosystem includes chatbots that stimulate human conversation, generative AI that creates text and images from simple prompts, and large language models trained on massive data sets to perform a wide range of tasks. These systems rely on deep learning architectures that analyze data through layers of interconnected digital neurons, enabling machines to understand context, emotion, and intent. Current trends point toward a new phase of AI development. Agentic AI systems are emerging as digital co-workers capable of planning and executing multi-step tasks. AI is moving into the physical world through robotics and embodied intelligence. Governments are prioritizing sovereign AI to retain control over data and computing, while advances in infrastructure are driving more efficient, scalable, and cost-effective AI systems. Artificial intelligence did not appear overnight. Its evolution reflects decades of research, faster computing power, and access to vast amounts of data. Today, India is emerging as a key player in the next phase of AI, from agentic systems and multimodal models to sovereign AI and large-scale public use. With major investments in data centers, semiconductors, and indigenous AI under the India AI mission, the New Delhi summit is not just about hosting the debate, but shaping how AI is built and governed in the global south. Diptanshu Kashyap for DD India.
The centre on Thursday signed a tripartite agreement with the Nagaland government and Eastern Nagaland's People's Organisation for the formation of Frontier Nagaland Territorial Authority, a long-standing demand for a new administrative body within the northeastern state. Terming it as a historic agreement, Home Minister Amit Shah said that the agreement will empower FNTA with financial autonomy and improve decision-making for holistic development of Eastern Nagaland. He also added that it is a giant step towards realizing Prime Minister Modi's vision for a peaceful and prosperous Northeast by resolving all contentious issues. He also said that the tripartite agreement removes the obstacles to speedier progress of the region. Prime Minister Narendra Modi too termed the agreement as a historic one indeed, saying that it will enhance the development trajectory of Eastern Nagaland in particular. Prime Minister said that he is sure that it will open new avenues of opportunity and prosperity for the people. He added that the development reflects the government's unwavering commitment to peace, progress and inclusive growth in the Northeast. And now we take a look at updates from the world of business. The Reserve Bank of India's Monetary Policy Committee held its final meeting of financial year 2026, and today it will come out with its policy announcement. After an extended rate cut cycle over the past year, markets are now debating whether the RBI will opt for another reduction in the repo rate or choose to pause and reassess evolving macro conditions. However, most feel it is likely to keep the repo rate steady at 5.25%, emphasizing liquidity management over rate cuts. This policy review comes at a crucial juncture. Just days ago, Union Budget 2026 outlined a 12% rise in capital expenditure and set a fiscal deficit target of 4.3%. At the same time, the external environment appears to be improving, with the US lowering tariffs on India to 18% and the recently signed India-EU FTA expected to support trade flows and capital movement. Up next, we're heading for sports updates. We'll talk of cricket. India will strive for a record-extending 6th title when it locks horns with England in the Under-19 World Cup final in Harare on Friday. Both teams enter the summit clash unbeaten in the tournament. They have clinched the trophy 5 times and finished runners-up in 2024 against Australia. 14-year-old Vaibhav Suryavanshi with 264 runs has been India's most consistent performer, while Henel Patel has been bowling ace with 11 wickets. Meanwhile, England chased their 2nd title and their first since 1998. Ben Myers with 399 runs and captain Thomas Rue with 299 runs have been at the forefront of England's campaign, while pacer Mani Lumsden is the top wicket taker in the tournament with 15 scalps. In a short while from now, our correspondent Narayan will be joining us to get us more. We will be talking about the prospects of both the teams. Remember, this is the 6th title which India will be eyeing, and it will be facing England in the Under-19 World Cup final that will be held in Harare. Also, what is to be noticed is that both the teams are entering the summit clash unbeaten in the tournament. Our correspondent Narayan is... All right, we're not being able to establish contact with Narayan. We'll try getting back to him again. But meanwhile, let's turn focus to other updates in India's capital, New Delhi. Indigenous Australian art has taken centre stage at the India Art Fair 2026. For the first time in India, acclaimed Torres Strait Islander artist and designer Grace Lillian Lee is presenting her work. She's showcasing Winds of Guardians, a powerful collection rooted in ancestral knowledge and contemporary design, exploring identity and guardianship through traditional techniques passed down by elders. The fair runs until 8th of February, opening new avenues for artistic collaboration between Australia and India. With that, we end this edition of News Hour. But before we leave, we get you an interview lined up for you on the upcoming India AI Impact Summit. DD India's correspondent Shubhendu Ghosh interacts with the prominent Indian AI startup called GenLoop to find out more on how is India's AI ecosystem evolving. Let's listen in. With that, I'll take your leave. Bye-bye.
AI has emerged as a transformative force in the world today. India is set to host AI Impact Summit. It will bring together global leaders, policymakers, technology companies, innovators and other stakeholders on the same platform to talk about, demonstrate and also deliberate on the potential of AI in diverse domains. To talk about it, I have with me Ayush Gupta, founder and CEO GenLoop. GenLoop is an AI startup that specializes in building domain-specific large language models. Ayush, welcome to DD India.
Thank you so much for having me here.
And if you can first help simplify for us the vocabulary of AI. What is an LLM? What does your startup do?
Sure. So LLM are large language models. Yeah. So language modeling has been an old concept. Like for me personally, I was doing language modeling for the past 8-9 years. Yeah. Now close to the ChatGPT domains or like closer to 2020 plus, it became very large. So the parameters became very large, a lot of non-linear connections started coming up, and that is how it started remembering and reasoning about a lot of things. So it's language models made large. GenLoop also started close to the ChatGPT time when we saw that this technology is really transforming how we do things. So we started as a research lab trying to make them more reliable for enterprise production. We've been huge proponents of smaller language models. So those are the models in the category of 1 billion parameters to 8 billion parameters. And large are more like 8 to 100 and even more like, there's some models that go to 1 trillion parameters or so. So we started as a research lab doing that. Now started with continual pre-training, fine-tuning and all these technologies. Now with the government support are also training foundational models from scratch. That's a really inspiring effort that we have started to take. Right. And on top of that, we have this enterprise offering where we are building AI data analysts that sit on the enterprise data universe and try to automate data requests, helping everyone with data-driven decisions.
Right. And Ayush, we learned that you were one of the 12 startups that Prime Minister Narendra Modi engaged with ahead of the AI Impact Summit. Can you recall that meeting for us? What happened? And what is your sense of how Prime Minister articulates the significance of AI in the days ahead?
Perfect. So, first of all, very fortunate that the Prime Minister spared 2+ hours to meet with us, share his insights and also listen from us what are the priorities, etc. in the AI space and how India can take leadership. So the first 1.5 hours were about strategic discussions, a close roundtable conversation where everyone was going around discussing what they are doing. The Prime Minister was very observant, very keen on understanding things, very quippy also at times and lightened the mood around. And after that, there was this informal conversation where we were discussing more freely on the government's perspectives, what we think could be important, etc. Now, what really struck me was the Prime Minister is very mature in his understanding of AI. His expectations are very much like an expert, what could be achieved with this technology. We are still in the early phases of what AI could do. All these demos and prototypes, there's a gap between what they achieve and what could be put into production for the scale of India. So that was really something that stood out for me.
Great. And let's now talk about the AI Impact Summit. Why is it significant? And the fact that India is hosting it is said to be one of the biggest such AI events in the global south. How do you see the significance of it?
No, it's a really big summit. The Prime Minister also emphasized that how can we make this not just Bharat Mein Summit, but Bharat Ka Summit. And I really appreciate the entire government's effort to make this, a unifying call for all the AI enthusiasts and all the people who are interested in technology to come together to make this summit a success. We have seen so many pre-summit events happening all across India. So many leaders coming down to the Impact Summit, and this is really like the Olympics of sports. This is the Olympics of AI and technology, and it would be great to kind of motivate a lot of young people, developers, etc. to take up AI with more force and contribute to the technology landscape of India.
Right. A little more on that, Ayush. What are likely to be the key takeaways? What can the youth interested in technology, getting trained in technology and AI, can expect from the summit?
Sure. So there are a lot of focus areas for the summit, like apart from different conversations, demos, workshops, etc. There is sessions around how AI can impact governance, how AI can impact healthcare, how it can impact education. So there's something for everyone, every policy maker, every citizen, every tech enthusiast to take something away from the summit. So in those 4-day summits, 16 to 20, people can come, understand how different people are doing things, what other companies are making, and what could be the new ways that AI could impact a particular domain or vertical that they are interested in.
Right.
Also possibly how they can incorporate AI in their daily life and make things, new tech.
Right. In the same flow, in terms of both talent and AI ecosystem, hardware, if I may say, what is your assessment of where India stands today in global AI ecosystem?
So, Stanford's latest ranking puts India 3rd on the preparedness for AI, and it says we have the biggest talent pool available for AI. No one has doubt that we could become the biggest AI servicing nation, but there's a huge focus on how we can become a product nation as well in terms of AI, and then how we can, race ahead in terms of building foundational models.
By product, you mean a country that produces AI solutions, not just skilled
Not
AI.
just servicing, but produces AI products like the Facebook did for the social media world. Could we have, world transforming products and technologies in AI coming out of India? The government has been, really hands-on on promoting the 5 pillars of the AI world, like starting from energy. They have privatized the nuclear energy space. So clean energy can be made available for training of these models, because these models are very energy hungry. Not just training them, inferencing them takes a lot of energy. On the compute side, they have put a lot of focus into making that compute available through NVIDIA and subsidizing it through the India AI mission as well. And then model, application, infra, all these layers the government is supporting and acting like a catalyst. I believe it's people like us, companies like us, who will have to take the queue and race ahead. But I really appreciate the steps government is taking to become a catalyst in this space.
Right, and given AI is as a ecosystem is new for many people to understand, what is your sense of the road ahead for the future of work and economy? What are the opportunities and challenges that you recognize?
So today AI has become very democratic, honestly. So it's not really a big challenge for someone to understand AI anymore. People can see AI in different facets of their life. Like everyone in their work is using technologies like ChatGPT. Around 900 million users will be using AI in some form or the other, through chatbots, through media houses that are using technology to kind of present the news, etc. So understanding AI is getting simpler day by day. You don't have to sit up with those clunky machines, GPUs, etc. to get a first-hand feel of AI. You can feel it, really through applications that are built on top. So I think people are becoming more aware of this day by day. A lot of people already use ChatGPT. India is the second biggest user of technologies like ChatGPT today. So I'm really, really optimistic on how the AI literacy in India is taking up.
Right, and any concerns that you'd like to flag as somebody who is in fact running a startup in the domain?
So one key focus area for us has always been, how can you look beyond the demos and the prototypes to create actual impact, the actual ROI of AI. So that is always a focus for us, and that is an important debate around the world as well. How can we move AI beyond those demos and have real world impact, the real ROI. The second is, AI systems like that we have today, they're probabilistic. So they are prone to hallucination, they are prone to making errors. So how do we make systems that don't hallucinate, don't give wrong information, and that could have a huge impact in the healthcare space if someone is taking actions on those wrong informations. So there are 2 key aspects on how, the concern areas where we should work on AI.
Right, on that note, Ayush, thank you very much for joining us on DD India and sharing your perspective.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. A pleasure joining you all.
Thank you.